In any case, let's get on with the business at hand, which is nostalgia. And we're going to get on to some famous people's birthdays as soon as I pour a little more coffee here. That's all right, everyone. And on the 19th, we missed it, but we don't like to miss people too much, is the birthday of Janice Joplin, who was born January 19th, 1943, and unfortunately prematurely passed away in 1970. Excuse me a moment. Here's a couple of pictures of Janice. And see, what did I do here? Oh, okay. Excuse me a moment. All right. Which one is she?
On the left.
The taller one.
Uh-huh.
She be the taller one here, as a little urchin, and with her mother, and I believe she had two younger sisters, or siblings anyway. But siblings and sisters both start with S, so it's easy for me to get those mixed up. Here she is a little bit later in life. And a little bit after that. And you got one more because some people aren't actually
I'm
watching.
not familiar with these pictures.
All right, we'll show some more, but you know, I know the majority of people are probably not watching unless they go on the website or KMET and check out the KMET TV. But there she is graduating. She's got quite a different look than she did later in life. There's one more, and I don't want to, like I said, take up too much time showing pictures when this is a lot more, quote, like it that we remember her from, and that's mostly from album covers and things like that. But you know what? There weren't that many album covers. So Joplin was an American singer-songwriter who sang rock, soul, and blues music, and one of the most successful and widely known rock stars of her era, and noted for her powerful, no kidding, mezzo-soprano vocals and stage presence. Janice was born in Port Arthur, Texas, to her mother, a registrar at the business college, and her father, an engineer for Texaco. She had two younger siblings. Like I said, we know one was a daughter because we just saw a picture. Not sure about the other one, but we don't need to know right now. In school, she became friends with a group of outcasts, considered at that time anyway, one of whom had blues albums by Bessie Smith, Ma Rainey, and Leadbelly. She later said that they greatly influenced her decision to become a singer. She began singing blues and folk music with a few friends in high school. And at the same time, she was bullied in high school as she became overweight and suffered from acne, leaving her with facial scars. And continually, she was called pig, freak, or creep. And unfortunately, that kind of behavior continues because it is nothing more or less than human behavior. After graduation, Joplin attended Lamar State College of Technology in Beaumont, Texas, and later the University of Texas, though she did not complete her studies. A campus newspaper headlined, dig this, "She dares to be different. She goes barefooted when she feels like it. Wears Levi's to class because they're more comfortable." Can you imagine that being weird anymore? Oh, anyway. And carries her auto harp with her everywhere she goes. I can imagine that. So that if she gets the urge to break into song, it will be handy. Her name is Janice Joplin. She left Texas in 1963 and went hitchhiking. I can see that in San Francisco, where she was arrested for shoplifting. She became a drug user and was known to drink plenty of Southern Comfort, which I think is absolutely necessary if you're going to delve into Southern culture and music, right? Anyway, don't listen to me. In 1965, she went down to 88 pounds. Wow. Whew, she went back home, changed her lifestyle completely, but continued to sing. Her singing was stinging. Anyway, Joplin then enrolled as an anthropology major in Lamar University. She became engaged, lived briefly in New York, only to have the engagement end by her IBM employed fiance as he traveled frequently. Also, he had to wear a blue shirt and a tie every day, as I recall. She eventually reunited with friends in San Francisco, and in 1966 joined the psychedelic rock band of Big Brother and the Holding Company. And we just found that record, one of those. I'm not sure how many there were, but I couldn't find it today. Found it a couple of days ago. Anyway, leading to her first public performance at the Avalon Ballroom in San Francisco, not in Avalon. In time, she connected with many other bands, played in performances like the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967, Woodstock in 1969, and others where she rose to flame. She was a flame. She rose to fame also. And she continued her drug use and died of a heroin overdose in 1970. Very unfortunate, but that still kind of happens these days, one way or the other, many times due to prescription and mixing and matching with things that the doctor says you shouldn't. But that's why we got to read those labels and ask your pharmacist every time you want to take something weird. Anyway, she died of that overdose in 1970 at the age of 27. And that was just about 2 weeks after Jimi Hendrix died, who was also 27. She died after releasing 3 band albums and 1 solo album, with the second album released after her death, Pearl. And my hands are clean. I should wear white gloves for some of this. Here is our latest acquisition in the high-end audio record. We have number 8,204 of 10,000, so whatever. This is the one step. 45 RPM, brilliant sounding, all of those. We have quite a few of these one steps. Is there anything inside, any pictures or anything that might be interesting while I go on here? She was induced into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. And, oh, what's that?
Nice. That's right, I remember. Just
Yeah,
pictures.
so there's a little booklet actually in here. And there, of course, is a picture that we kind of recognize even more. And there again, and let me open it up a little bit here. Yeah, these are really thick pages in here, so that's pretty nice to have that. Let me quickly take a look again. That's, again, what I remember her looking like, because that's what she kind of took on as herself, even though we have some better pictures. But there she is again. And there again. And it also comes with some stills that are very nice. Suitable for framing, as they would say. And most of these one steps do come with several stills that are like that. And there she is, belting it out. Anyway, she is definitely gone, and tragically much too young. So, like I said, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't have the year Lifetime Achievement Award handy, but so be it. Anyway, that's her. And now, who else was born on January? This is actually January 21st, which is today. And that would be J. Carrol Nash, who was born on the 21st in 1896, and he earned his wings in 1973. So Joseph, Patrick, Carroll Nash was an American actor. He appeared in over 200 films during the golden age of Hollywood, as well as numerous television shows, including Wanted Dead or Alive, Whirlybirds, boy, I remember that, Wagon Train, The Untouchables, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., just to name a few. And it's got to be The Man from U.N.C.L.'s success that really brought on the James Bond movies at about the same time. Let's have a couple of pictures. He looks a little hunchback here because he played the hunchback Igor in several, didn't he, Kathleen?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
NASA
got a
Nellie,
picture.
sorry. I get NASA Nellie and our director mixed up sometimes. And there he is. I think this may be Son of Frankenstein or House of Frankenstein that could have come from. And here he is as a big shot, but I don't remember where this doesn't look familiar, but it's obviously from another. And here definitely is House of Frankenstein, where he wanted this gypsy girl, but she didn't want him because he was humpback, and for some reason went after Lon Chaney Jr., who wasn't humpback, but he was hump-headed as far
And
as I know.
she starred in Marcus Bobby, MD, for years.
Oh, how do you like that? I just learned NASA Nellie told me that this woman here, whose name I don't know offhand, which we might find it on a video thing, starred in Marcus Welby, MD, for many, many years. So there. So he was born in New York City, the son of immigrants from Ireland. And Joseph appeared on stage for several years before he began his film career. And he began as a member of Gus Edwards' vaudeville troupe. Gus. Anyway, after World War I, he formed his own song and dance act in Paris, and he was traveling the globe from Europe to Egypt to Asia. Sounds like a pretty good life to me. When his China-bound ship developed engine problems, leaving him in California in 1926. I guess worse could happen. He was twice nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, one for Sahara and one for Medal of Benny, which I don't remember at all. And anyway, which he won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor. He often played villains, from gangsters to mad scientists, and was a supporting character in a number of horror films. Like I said, at least that one. And we'll get into a few more of those. He was of Irish descent, but rarely played an Irishman. So here's a short list of his films. House of Frankenstein, 1944. And he wasn't in House of Dracula. Anyway, again, we show these because they got much better pictures. There's just showing the Laserdisc. House of Frankenstein. Over on this side, you can take a look at some of those pictures. There's good old David Carradine on the right there, which we saw on YouTube on a silly, but it was fun anyway. House of Frankenstein 1944 was directed by Eric C. Kenton and starred Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr., and John Carradine, as it showed in that other film. The Beast with Five Fingers, 1946, directed by Robert Florey, which was a really scary movie, and starred Peter Lorre, and also starred Peter Lorre. So Beneath the 12-Mile Reef was 1953, directed by Robert D. Webb, starred Robert Wagner and Gilbert Rowland. Where is that? That's right here. I just like it. This is a great cover, by the way. It's in Technicolor, by the way. What is this Webb? Webb Telescope. No, directed by a different Webb, not the Webb that has the telescope. But I somehow remember some good music from this, too. I don't remember all of it all that well, but I know I like Gilbert Rowland, and this was, I think, one of his best.
CinemaScope.
Yeah, and CinemaScope. Dracula versus Frankenstein.
You can see it without glasses, it says.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Dracula versus Frankenstein. Look at all that Tesla-looking stuff. all new, all color. Was this made? I don't think this was color when it first came out. That was, right? I think this was made in color for this particular copy. Let's see, that was 1971. Yeah, it could have definitely been color. Dracula versus Frankenstein. We'll have to look for that. Lon Chaney, Jim Davis, Russ Tamlin and Jim Davis. So yeah, it was color, all right. Russ Tamlin, we know, and Jim Davis was in probably the worst science fiction film of all time, but we talked about that at another time. So, we're just about done with our...
The Monster Maker.
Oh, okay.
And here he is, J. Carroll Nash right there.
All right, he was also in The Monster Maker and Poverty Row Horrors. This was a group of movies. I don't know if there's pictures on the inside. But anyway, The Monster Maker right here with Talia Barrell, Wanda McKay, and directed by Sam Newfield. Okay, and there he is. See him there? There he is. Okay, now, that's what I was going to say, cast Dick Powell. No, Dick Purcell. Okay. Don't see anybody else that I really recognize offhand. We have probably about 3 or 4 minutes before break time and news time. So I wonder if NASA Nellie would come back into out of orbit for a couple of quick jokes or riddles or that kind of, like to pepper the show with some laughs, other than just looking at me. But not everybody is on video, so you know how that goes.
Sure. I started a new job as a tailor last week. It's been so-so.
Oh, it took me a minute to get that. But I am so slow.
How many tickles does it take to get an octopus to laugh?
How many tickles does it take to get an octopus to laugh? I don't know.
10 tickles.
Oh my God, tentacles. 10 tickles. All right, go on.
Someone stole my mood ring yesterday. I still don't know how I feel about that.
Oh. That's kind of a new age joke, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good for Sedona, right? Mm-hmm. All right. We got time for another one or two? I think we do.
Now, how do you measure a snake?
How do you measure a snake? I don't know, NASA Nellie. How would you measure a snake?
In inches. They don't have feet.
Oh, in inches. They don't have feet. Pretty silly. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
A couple more. Lay them on us.
Okay. Let's see. What's the difference between a jeweler and a jailer?
What is the difference between a jeweler and a jailer? I think I heard that once in my younger days. I don't remember. So what is the difference between a jeweler and a jailer?
A jeweler sells watches. A jailer sells.
Can you repeat that?
A jeweler sells watches. A jailer sells.
Oh boy. All right. I think one more and then we'll have to sign off because people will be kicking us off.
When is a door no longer a door?
When is a door no longer a door?
When it's a jar.
When it's a jar. And we'll be back here in just a few minutes. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.